Hello friends! It is that time of year where we get into some of... Do you see Tallest Tale right now? It is that time of year where we get into our end of the year wrap-up series, and we're kicking things off on kind of a negative note this time with my worst products of 2022. I wanted to get this one out of the way so that then we can, move into some of the more positive videos, but I'm going to be sharing the worst products I tried this year. Honestly, I didn't even know if I was going to be filming a 2022 fails video because I felt like I didn't try that many bad products this year, which is a good thing, not complaining. But I went back through all of my faves and fails videos and speed reviews from the year past and realized that there was actually quite a handful of products that didn't work out for me that I actually would really not recommend. So I'm going to share those with you today in hopes of saving you some money. If there are any positives to any of these things, I'll of course share those things too, because just because I didn't like them doesn't mean that someone else wouldn't like them for other reasons. Now, before we get into it, I do want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. I've been using Skillshare what seems like all year, most of the year. They've got classes in graphic design, photography, even things like gardening. You can pretty much find a class on there in anything that you are wanting to learn about. The class that I'm working on right now, I was actually searching for classes specifically in planning using Google Calendar because as we're getting into a new year, I've been thinking about how I want to plan my time. In the past, I've been such a paper planner person, but every year at the beginning of the year, I buy a paper planner and I use it for a couple months and then I completely ditch it. Recently, I have decided I'm just going to go digital, but I'm so new to digital planning. I wanted to see if Skillshare had any classes where I could learn more about how to use it, and I ended up finding a class taught by a fellow YouTuber actually, Cindy Gunter Baldo, and the class is actually called Project Planning for Procrastinators, which if you didn't know, I am a chronic procrastinator as I've shared before, so this seemed like the perfect course for me, and there's actually a lesson in here specifically about using Google Calendar to reduce overwhelm in your life and plan out projects. So this class left me feeling so excited to start really making use of Google Calendar. And really what I love about Skillshare is once you are a member, you have access to so many different classes in anything you could think of. You could decide one day, I kind of want to take up crocheting. There are classes on there for that. So it's just an amazing platform. I've gotten so much use out of it over the past almost year that I've been a member. So if you're interested in checking out Skillshare for yourself, or maybe you're thinking about giving it as a gift to someone for the holidays, this would make a great, what do they call it, a clutter-free gift. Or someone in your life who they don't want any physical gifts, or maybe you feel like they already have everything. Skillshare would be a great gift idea for someone like that. So if you're interested in checking it out, the first 1,000 of you to use my link down below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So check it out if you're interested, and thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. So let us now get into the worst products of 2022. Most of these things I actually no longer have because usually if I try something that I hate, I'm not going to keep it around for very long. In fact, I only have one of these products in my possession currently, so we'll go ahead and start with that one. This is from Colourpop. I've liked a lot of the things that I've tried from Colourpop, but this was a major disappointment to me. This is their tri-peptide lip cloud. So this is kind of like a lip oil, I guess, lip balm, whatever you want to call it. It has a minty scent, which is a red flag to me. Any lip balm that has a mint flavor usually just ends up drying out my lips more than it hydrates them, and that was definitely the case with this one. On top of that, the texture of this is just so thin. It's one of those lip products you apply and then within 10 minutes you feel like it's gone from your lips. But the real kicker for me with this is that this is double the price of the Colourpop Lip Glossy, which I love. I think that's actually an amazing lip balm for a very fair price, I think, $13. This is $24 and it does absolutely nothing for my lips. It kind of irks me when a brand already has an amazing staple product in their line and then that they're well known for, and then they release something like this. To me, it just seems like a little bit of a cash grab because people trust Colourpop for their lip glossy, so then people are obviously going to want to buy this and try it out, but it's no good. Don't waste your money. Also, I'm looking online now on Ulta. This has 2.5 stars, so it's validating at least to know that I'm not the only one that didn't like this. Another lip product that I just didn't get along with, but this one I think has gotten really good reviews this year, so I'm not sure why it didn't work for me, but this was the Flower Beauty lip stain, and specifically I had the shade Play. This was a product that I tried out like way earlier on this year. I almost forgot that that was this year, but I think I reviewed it in a speed reviews like in February of this year. That lip stain felt promising when I first applied it, and it was a really pretty mauve berry sort of color, but once that glossy finish wore off, the stain itself, while it did stick around on my lips for a decent amount of time, like a few hours, it looked very patchy on my lips. And I will have a picture on the screen of what it looked like once the gloss had worn away. I feel like this picture, though, doesn't even quite do it justice, just how patchy it looked. But I don't know. Unfortunately, that lip stain didn't work for me. I know a lot of people love it, though. Maybe I just was unlucky with the shade that I got. Maybe some of the other shades work better, but that just was a bit of a letdown for me. Another letdown was a mascara. This was the Milk Makeup Rise mascara. This is another one that I tried very early on this year. It feels like forever ago that I tried this, but this was a major letdown. Now, a lot of times when a high-end mascara doesn't work out for me, I'm kind of happy in a weird way, because I don't really want to fall in love with an expensive mascara, because mascara is something that you have to replace pretty often, and I would just prefer not to fall in love with a high-end mascara. So in some ways, I guess I'm glad that this didn't work out. But this mascara, really just the issue was very simple, and that is that it was very, very flaky. And I've heard that from a lot of other people as well. Also, the packaging I remember being very annoying. It had this sort of gummy, like squishy exterior, which would get dirty very easily, and just, it was kind of gross. Like, why does that need to be there? But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was that it was almost as if the opening was too small for the brush. So when you put the brush back in, a ton of product would then collect around the opening, and you would have to wipe it off between every use. Otherwise, you would get just this crusty, dried up mess of mascara, which I'm sure then didn't help with the flakiness issue. So I would definitely steer clear of that mascara. I think there are so many better mascaras out there, so many better, more affordable ones. That one was a miss for sure. This was so sad because this is one of my favorite brands, but the Athr Beauty Desert Sky Highlighting Oil. So this product is something that you could either use as a highlighter on the high points of your face, or all over the face underneath makeup to just give an all-over glow. And the look of this product was beautiful. It had the most gorgeous, like, dimensional shimmer to it. I've said before, Athr Beauty does shimmery products just so well. They're always so glimmery and glistening and just gorgeous. But the issue with this oil is that the shimmer particles separated completely from the oil, and they ended up settling down to the bottom, and there was no shaker bead in there to get it mixed back up, so it ended up just being pretty impossible to use. Really, that was more of a packaging fail than anything else, even though I had high hopes, and the packaging was gorgeous also. It just wasn't a practical or usable product, unfortunately. A couple of products from Makeup Revolution that were a bit of a flop for me. First was the Superfix setting spray. I had such high hopes for this setting spray, and it's a shame because actually my favorite setting spray is also from Makeup Revolution. It's their Fix and Glow setting spray, which I've been raving about all year long. But the Superfix was a letdown. So it was in a metal can, basically, a metal aerosol spray can. And I was thinking that this was going to be one of those continuous spray setting sprays, sort of like the Morphe one that I've always been intrigued by. But unfortunately, it was no different from any regular setting spray, where you would have to keep pressing the nozzle down to get it to spray out, and it was a very aggressive sprayer. It was so wet, and I would end up getting so much in like one spot on my face, even if I held it really far away. So it was really the mister that was the main downfall of this, but unfortunately with an aerosol spray like that, there's no way to decant that into a different bottle, so there was nothing to be done about it. Also, this one had a scent that I really didn't care for. Normally, I don't mind a little bit of a scent to a setting spray, but this one just had a really strong smell of cheap hairspray is what it smelled like to me. Another Makeup Revolution fail. I think from what I've gathered, Makeup Revolution seems to be a very hit or miss sort of brand. They have some amazing products, and then they have some not so great products. Another one that was a huge letdown to me was their Mega Bronzer. This one, okay, I will admit this was partially my fault because I bought this online. I guess, to be fair, I probably should have taken a look at it in person to make sure that the tone is something that would work for me. But this was their Mega Bronzer, specifically in the shade Cool. Now, if you take a look at this on Ulta's website, the shade Cool looks like the perfect light, cool tone bronzer looked like exactly the kind of shade that I love for a bronzer. But when I got it, I was shocked by not only how much deeper it looked than it did in the picture online, but also by how entirely warm the shade was. It was not a cool tone whatsoever. So I guess, you know, we'll chalk that up to just a misleading photo. But even aside from the shade, there was just something about the feeling and the texture of this powder that felt very drugstore to me. I felt that it went on very muddy and patchy, and it just wasn't something that I had the desire to continue messing with. I heard from a lot of you also who had made the same mistake as I did by buying the cool shade and then came to find out that it was totally not a cool tone at all. I would hate to see what the warm shade looks like, but that unfortunately I cannot recommend. I have heard really good things about the Makeup Revolution cream bronzer, and I actually would really like to try that eventually because I feel like I've heard nothing but good things about that one, and that one sounds like a much better product than the Mega Bronzer here. So those were all of the worst products that I tried in 2022. Really a pretty short list this time around, which is always good. That's always the goal, right? I don't want to try a ton of products that I end up not liking. So hopefully this helped give you an idea of some products that maybe you should stay away from, unless they sound like exactly what you're looking for. I feel like I didn't really mention any redeeming qualities of these products, but honestly, I can't think of any. Like, if a product is bad, it's bad for a reason. I can't think of why someone would like these things. Like, who likes a flaky mascara? No one that I know of, at least. But maybe that's you, and if so, give the Milk Makeup Rise Mascara a try. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope I helped save you some money and helped you avoid some disappointing products. Let me know if you've tried any of these products and you had a different experience. Let us know in the comments below. Maybe some of these things would work better for people with, you know, a different skin type or different preferences, so always want to hear about that down below. But thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to check out Skillshare. Like I said, the first 1,000 people to use my link down below will get a 1-month free trial, so check it out if you are interested. But thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hopefully I will talk to you very soon in my next video. Bye.